Okay, our menu is looking pretty good, but right now there's just no visual separation between the links themselves. If I come up to the menu and I kind of hover over these links, sometimes it's not quite obvious which one I'm hovering over because there's just no separation between them. So in this exercise, we're going to take a look at one of the ways that we can add some visual separation. So I'm going to go back into my code editor, and I'm working with the vertical.html file found in the 03_05 directory. And you can see, once again, I've sort of scrolled down to our vertical menu styles. And we're going to continue working with the same selector, which is the one that's targeting the links inside of the list items, the li space A selector. And I'm just going to go down to the bottom of this. And I'm sure some of you guys have already sort of figured out that if you want to separation between elements, margins would be a good place to start. You're right. Margins would work great. The same way that padding adds a little bit of interior space to our menu items, margins will allow us to sort of space them apart. Now, when I think about how I want them spaced apart, I really just need to push them down away from each other a little bit, just to leave a little bit of space. So instead of putting a margin all the way around the links, which would be, kind of a bad idea, I'm just going to focus on applying it to the bottom. So I'm going to do a margin dash bottom. And we don't need a lot of it. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to echo what we did with our padding above it, and I'll just do 0.2 ems. All right, I'm going to go ahead and save that, go back out to my browser, refresh the page, and there you go. Now we've got some vertical separation. So that is perfect. And so now as I mouse over the different menu items, I know exactly which one I'm going to be clicking on, which of course is a very important part of any user experience when you're dealing with menus. Now, using margins like this to control link spacing does make sense. I want to point out it's really not always the right choice. Currently, the color that we're getting as the visual separator between these links is coming from the page itself. So we're just sort of seeing through, if you will. Now, you could have applied a background color to the parent unordered list or even the list item elements, and that could shine through. But unless you've done that, the background of the page or the region that the menu is in is going to show through the links. And often that's not the best choice. You might have a background color of the page that just doesn't work, or maybe even you're looking at an image back there. So in those cases, you're going to want to use some type of an alternate method of visually separating those links. And we're going to go ahead and explore one of those methods in our next exercise as we replace the margins that we're using here by adding some borders to our menu styling.